We've officially entered waiver season just months before the general elections. After the Congress win in the three states of Chhattisgarh, MP and Rajasthan, Congress President Rahul Gandhi has promised to waive off all farm loans nationwide if voted to power. Now, hours after this challenge, two BJP-ruled states, Gujarat and Assam, have announced waivers of their own. While Assam has waived off bank loans for farmers worth 600 crore rupees, the state of Gujarat has announced a waiver of electricity bills in rural areas to the tune of 650 crore rupees. It's important to remember here that the Congress's electoral success in three states is being seen as a result of its farm loan waiver promise.
देखा? आपने देखा? शुरू हो गया ना काम?
मैंने क्या कहा था? 10 दिन में हो जाएगा। कितने दिन हुए? एक दिन हुआ, 2 स्टेट्स में हो गया। 10 गुना बेहतर परफॉर्मेंस करके मैंने दिखा दी। तो यही नेशनल लेवल पे होगा। अब हम नरेंद्र मोदी पे ऐसा दबाव डालेंगे, और सिर्फ कांग्रेस पार्टी नहीं, आप सबको लेकर हम कर्जा माफ करवाएंगे। आपके साथ कांग्रेस पार्टी खड़ी होगी और बाकी सब विपक्ष की पार्टियां पूरे देश में आपके साथ खड़ी होंगी।
Now, to speak more on this, I'm joined today by Soumyakanti Ghosh, a Chief Economic Advisor at State Bank of India. BJP spokesperson Narendra Taneja joins us on the show. And I'm also speaking today with Vinayak Dalmia of the Congress Party. Welcome to all of you. I'm just going to start with Soumyakanti Ghosh, because Mr. Ghosh, you put out a paper just a few days ago in your SBI Eco-Wrap, in which you warned against the spate of farm loan waivers. You pegged the figure at some 2 lakh crore rupees. Now here you have an announcement from Assam and Gujarat as well. Gujarat waiving off electricity bills. Do you see this as a trend which will only grow, and why are you so concerned about it?
Yeah, I think the last time when he wrote the report, the total amount of farm loan waiver beginning from 2008 was around 2.3 lakh crores, and with the recent announcements, I think the figure is now close to 3 lakh crores. I think we need to understand the basic problem in the Indian agriculture today. If we actually look into the land holding pattern, that has halved from what that was in 1970-71 till 2015-16 from the latest data is available. Now, as the land holding is declining for, and 80% of Indian farmers are small and marginal. So, as the land holdings are declining, the farmers are actually finding it more profitable to shift to crops like cotton, which are high value crops. But there is also a limit to it where they can sustain a family of maybe 4 and 5. So what is happening today is that production is not the basic problem. The problem is marketing of the agricultural produce, which you need to reform big time. And my sense is that loan waiver at the end of the day may be just a shortcut band-aid to address the problem, but over a longer period of time, you need to address this basic issue of why the farmers are not being able to get the proper market for their produce, and that is exactly the reforms which we need to strive in the next couple of years. Otherwise, what is going to happen is that this debt waiver, we are giving a debt waiver, and let me give a simple example. Once a debt waiver is announced and the money is compensated by the states to the banks, until and unless that money is not fully paid, that account will remain as NPA, and if an account remains an NPA, the person will not get agricultural credit. If he doesn't get agricultural credit, so basically then they will go to the informal sources. So the share of the informal credit will go up. That will lead to more farmer debt increasing, and again maybe 2 to 3 years down the line we can again see a loan waiver coming up. And this has actually happened to Indian states, which has announced debt waiver in 2015, again announced it in 2018.
Okay, so that's the economic side of the argument, but politics doesn't always follow economic rationales. And Mr. Dalmia, that seems clear. The win in 3 states has bolstered the Congress party, no doubt. But this challenge today from Rahul Gandhi, he said 2 things. One, that we will not let Prime Minister Modi sleep till there is a blanket farm loan waiver, and if not, we will implement a farm loan waiver. Now, he himself has said that farm loan waivers cannot be the only solution. have you thought through the economic side of this, or is this something that you're hoping will see you through in the next election?
Firstly, when we went to the people in all the three states that you're referring to, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and Rajasthan, we saw that there was a rural distress, and we saw that there was an agrarian crisis. And that is why we included these promises in our manifesto. And we walked the talk, unlike some other political parties who just believe in making tall promises. We did the hard work, and we took hard decisions. And we fulfilled our promise in 2 states within 6 hours. So massive credit where it's due to both the chief ministers and to the Congress party president, Rahul Gandhi ji. This is a very urban view of looking at India. If any of us had ever spent time with the farmers and understood their real agony and their real pain, we would not be saying, is this good economics? Is this good politics? Because...
Mr. Dalmia, I'm going to interrupt you there. That's a very condescending view that you have there, assuming that people do not know what the reality is or what the solutions could mean just because they have not lived and worked on a farm. That's a very condescending view, sir. And signing 2 files within 6 hours is great for political mileage. But please answer my question. I'm sure you have an answer. I hope you do. That how are you going to pull this off? It may get you more votes, but what is it going to do to the economy?
So as far as, firstly, I don't understand how it was condescending. My point is that you have to understand and empathize from the point of view of the farmer. And I'm not saying that you don't. I'm saying that we have to analyze, understand from that prism. The farm economy and the agrarian economy of India still is its heartbeat. It's still its soul. And therefore, it is not only good politics, as we like to call it, it's also very good economics. Because it creates employment, it creates a prosperous farm economy, which helps everybody. And there is a positive chain reaction. And obviously, we are very cognizant of the fact that this is only one solution. And it's a part of a holistic solution as far as the agrarian economy is concerned. There are other medium-term and long-term solutions and structural changes that we will have to work on.
Okay, does it improve rural economy? I will get Soumyakanti Ghosh to respond to that in a bit. But meanwhile, let me come to Mr. Taneja. Mr. Taneja, the central government's position has been that there will be no national level farm loan waiver. Whatever states have to do, they will do. Can you stick to that position in the face of the kind of pressure, political pressure you are now facing? Or will it be implemented through what we've seen today? The states of Assam and Gujarat, both BJP-ruled states, announcing farm loan waivers or waivers of electricity loans for farmers of their own.
Well, Tamanna, first of all, any relief to, poor or farmer, if he needs relief and that's provided, that's always welcome. I mean, any relief to anyone who needs some support, who needs some, incentive, that's always welcome. But that said, as you know, the policy that at the center that we have got, and if different BJP-ruled states like Gujarat and Assam you talked about, if they think they can afford, if they think it's good economics for them, and if they think they need to do for their farmers, for their people, under the constitution, they are entitled to take their own decisions. And in case of Uttar Pradesh, also the center was very clear. It was a decision of the government of Uttar Pradesh. When they came to power, they announced the relief and the waiver. So that's okay. But the point is, we have our focus at the central government is more kind of looking at the rural economy as a whole. We realized when we moved into power that the rural economy has been neglected for decades, was in a very bad shape, and we realized that we need to rework. We need to transform it. And we realized the infrastructure was a major issue. Most villages were not still connected. There was no electricity. Yeah. Irrigation was in a very bad shape. And 67% farmers didn't even have, 77% farmers didn't even have a bank account. So now we started fixing those things. So the result today is there for everybody to see. So we are more in the process of, taking roads and water and connectivity and LPG and all that to the villages and to the farmers. And with the focus being on transforming the rural economy. And farmers are just part of it. Rural economy means women, rural economy means, people who are laborers, rural economy means unemployed, and rural economy means a lot of other things, and of course farmers. So our focus is on transforming the economy, and if you look at the track record, if you give me, allow me time, you see if we have made actually tremendous progress.
No,
and
sure.
because that's what's needed
I'm
you can come and give it a relief and then go back,
Mr.
count
Taneja,
your
I'm
votes
asking
and
a
go
very
back.
specific question. So will there be no rethink on this policy against a nationwide farm loan waiver? And if so, can the BJP politically afford to stick to that position?
You see, the point is, first of all, you said pressure. We don't feel any pressure. Where is the pressure? You know, Congress Party putting pressure on us. I mean, it's just rhetoric and populism. It's Congress populism. They're not. Mr. Rahul Gandhi is not talking of any policy issues or governance. He's never been in government, so he has no idea. He doesn't understand the grammar of governance. So it's no pressure. Now the point here is that it's all politics. So when it comes to politics, we will counter politics with politics. You know, politics needs to be countered with politics. But as far as we are concerned, our focus is on transforming the rural economy, bring the reforms, go for restructuring where we need to do, and take a view so that our rural economy can be sustainable.
Mr. Taneja says there is no pressure, but hours within Rahul Gandhi's challenge to BJP rule states did make an announcement. Mr. Dalmia, you will get your turn and I will come to you, but wait to hear the other speaker in full. They say there is no pressure from the Congress party. The central government will not implement a farm loan waiver, but the BJP has most of the states with it. So if they do it through their state governments, the net effect will be the same politically, won't it?
Is that a question addressed to me?
Yes, Mr. Dalmia.
So I'll answer your question, but first, Mr. Taneja's very long monologue, where again, like the rest of the BJP clan, he talks as if nothing has happened till 2014. Effectively, India got independence in their mind in 2014, which we all know is far from reality. And if they had done so much for the rural economy, there would be no agrarian crisis. If they had done so much for the rural economy, they would have not got the results they did in the 3 states. They would have not got farmer suicide with the numbers that they have. So please, for once, look within, look in the mirror and stop these jumlas. Now, going on to your point, right, whether their states indulge in this or not, according to Mr. Taneja, it's populism. So I don't understand. His own 2 states have tried to do something recently, like you mentioned in Assam and in Gujarat. So is he saying that's also populism and he's just dismissing it? The BJP, like Rahul Gandhi said today, for the BJP, there are 2 Indias. They reject the India of the rurals and they only embrace the India of the 15 industrialists, to whom more than 3.5 lakh crore loans have been forgiven.
But please let's stick to the topic. Please let's stick to the topic. You have one relevant point there, that if your waivers are populism, aren't theirs? Well, my answer is yes, it is all populism. And it is going to only increase exponentially because nobody wants to lose elections. And really, promises are for free. It's the implementation which is the tough part. And this is why we're trying to have a serious discussion about it here.
Why is it that when you give relief to your farmers, it's dismissed as populism? And nobody is trying to analyze that why do we need to give them relief in the first place? How did we come?
One second, let's do that, Mr. Dar. You've raised a very good point. First of all, not being dismissed, there may be a case for it in some parts, but the implementation is questionable, which is why I have the chief economist of the State Bank of India sitting on this panel to bring light to all of these things with facts and figures. Mr. Ghosh, let me come to you now, and you need to bring a very important input in this. Raghuram Rajan has recently written to the Election Commission asking that farm loan waivers be kept off pre-poll manifestos and promises. There are 2-3 reasons he's given. Now, the case could be made, and in your own report, you talk about how agricultural prices are in the negative zone. They're dropping across the country, and especially in very, agri-heavy and dependent states. That means farmers are getting less money for their produce. There's definitely going to be distress. So why not? Let me counter you with that question, Mr. Ghosh. Why not make a case for farm loan waivers in a situation like this? Why dismiss it as a populism?
No, I think that's a very interesting point, and just 1 minute. I mean, yes, there has been a decline, significant decline in the rural prices. That's both a positive point and a negative point, because inflation has been, food inflation has been significantly benign, and that has been benefiting the consumers. But the flip side of is that is actually harming the farmers. Now, your specific point on this farmland waiver as a solution, I don't think that is a correct solution, because it vitiates the credit atmosphere, leads to an increase in the bank NPS, and also leads to a decline in the credit growth. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the farmer, if he borrows from informal sources, he gets more indebted, and 2 to 3 years down the line, we may actually look into the same debt waiver solution. So my simple sense is that why not suggest some sort of an income transfer scheme for the farmers, which is also have some fiscal cost, but that will be beneficial to the farmers in the long term. Let me give an example. There are close to 20 crore small and marginal farmers in India. If we assuming that each of these farmers have a family size of 5, and if we just provide them with 1,000 rupees, that's a minimum bare number of, say, income every month, the cost is not significantly higher than what could a national debt waiver scheme could cost. Or there could be other schemes like providing midday meal to the 10 crore children, or it could be like an Telangana transfer scheme in states where it is fiscally more prudent. So my sense is that instead of loan waiver, we need to support the farmers, but let them support with income support, which actually could boost their consumption, and that could also lead to increase in rural growth. Otherwise, this loan waiver is not a solution, and this will come back again and again as a short-term solution, which will not going to solve the agricultural sector problem in the long run.
As long as, there's a flip side argument to this. Farmers are also a voter constituent, and elections are a time when you get an opportunity to tell your leaders what you want, and that is the time when you can, in a sense, tell them that do what I'm saying, help me out, or I won't vote for you. So farmers have that right like everyone else. My question to you, Mr. Taneja, once again, you spoke about the NDA government's position on transforming agricultural sector on its own. There could be a different debate about whether it's worked or not. Politically, it has not worked for you fully. We've seen that in the Gujarat elections. We've seen that in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan. The facts and figures tell us enough to say that electorally you need to do more to tell farmers that you're doing something for them. What could that be?
I think, Tamanna, very good question. You see, there are basically two challenges. What's happening, like in Madhya Pradesh also, Rajasthan, the same story. Production has gone up. The produce, they've got the produce, but they're not getting the right value. They're not getting even the minimum value. Now that has become a basically challenge. Even MSc formula, number of ideas generated by experts in the agriculture, we have implemented them, but still the farmers are where they were. Now the question is, we need a bit of more innovation. And what innovation that should be, we are working on that. Innovation so that farmers, we don't want farmers to feel they're getting any kharat from the people or the government and all that. The economy should be sustainable. I mean, like my colleague on the panel, she gave example of Telangana, which I personally think is a fantastic example. What Telangana has done, something that's worth really studying carefully. And I have recommended to my party, we should study the Telangana model very carefully, and we should see if there is something for us to learn. There are a couple of other things we are working on to make sure that farmers' economy become more sustainable. So that, this political parties coming without understanding anything of agriculture, they go, hum Modi ji ko sikha denge, ye kar denge, first khud to seekh lo. Now the point here is that simple, to focus on this thing so that the economy, farmers' economy, become sustainable, and overall rural economy become modern and sustainable.
Yes.
We are working on all those ideas. Populism, we know. Populism is the other name of the Congress party. We know that.
Mr. Taneja, I think you've sort of lost the moral high ground on populism.
We are more into
I'm sorry, but you've lost the moral high ground on populism, because every BJP-ruled state has implemented farm loan waivers in one way or the other. You can't say now those are state governments. We don't know those chief ministers. They're all from the BJP. So, I mean, you can... that is one argument which is difficult for you to make today, Mr. Taneja. But right now, two BJP-ruled state governments have announced farm loan waivers. That is also populism. Embrace it. Say yes, as a political party, we listen to our constituents.
No. You see, the point is the government stand is very clear when it comes to the waiver. You know that. We respect, you know, and we are very clear as far as the waiver as a, you know, matter of principle is concerned. The government stand has been very clear and very consistent. You have seen that. Even when the government in Uttar Pradesh decided to go ahead with it, the message to Uttar Pradesh was very clear. You have to manage it yourself. If Gujarat can afford it based on the ground realities and all that, as I said, relief to the needy. Okay. We are all for that.
Mr. Dalmia, I have a question for you.
Is important, but at the same time, simultaneously work to transform their economy.
Mr. Dalmia, I have a question for you.
Transform their economy, and Congress does know that. Okay. That's why farmers are in that state, because Congress is the other name. Populism, Congress is the other name.
Well, they want to be populist, they want to be popular, they want to win an election.
That's why farmers
I don't think they see it as an insult right now. But I have a different question for you, Mr. Dalmia. Is that this announcement that Rahul Gandhi has made today, that if you vote for us in 2019, we will waive off all farm loans nationwide. Is this an announcement on the behalf of a proposed alliance like the Mahagathbandhan, or is this a Congress party announcement?
Now Rahul Gandhi speaks as the president of the Congress, and therefore he speaks in that capacity. If and when there's going to be an announcement for an alliance, there will be an announcement. You know, Tolstoy said this, that bureaucracy is the soul, while agriculture just fills the stomach. And that summarizes the story today. And, you know, I wish we had a bunch of farmers on such a panel. Ask them what they want. Ask them what are their issues. And you say populism as if, I don't know, it's a bad word. When you're a political party, you are supposed to represent the aspirations of people, and you're supposed to try your best to fulfill them. And if you don't do it, then who will? If you don't do it, are you not failing as a political party? Is that why you are not in politics in the first instance? And if the farmers are an important constituency, then you have to address their needs. They are an important stakeholder of this economy. They're an important stakeholder of this polity. So I don't understand what is the, and whether it is going to be good or bad economics, whether it's going to be fiscally responsible. If the particular state in question feels that they can balance their budget, feel that they have long-term measures to kickstart the economy, therefore revenue will come in to offset the farm loan waiver, then we should respect that decision and we should embrace the decision.
Absolutely, I agree. On that note, please let's look at the debt of the states of Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan, which is where this question comes in. And it is a bad scene for these states. All the states of Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan have high debt. It is not clear how they will afford these farm loan waivers, what it will do to these states as an investment destination, and all of that is important as well. All of that is important as well. People can live on this largesse only for some time. And there is no reason why farmers should subsidize the food we eat in cities. But there really has to be a longer term solution. Though, of course, that is a discussion I don't think politicians care about today. It's election season and waiver season has truly kicked off. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mr. Dalmia, Mr. Taneja, and of course, Soumyakanti Ghosh.